Good morrow everyone, Silvershire here, and welcome back to Palette Swap, where I rank the costumes and character designs of your favorite fighting games. And by your favorite fighting games, I mean my favorite fighting games, and by my favorite fighting games, I mean Tekken. Today, we're looking at Button Masher's best friend, Eddy Gordo, as well as his disco-dancing doppelganger, Tiger Jackson. But before we begin our analysis, here's a quick refresher course on who Eddy is and what we should be looking for in his character designs. Eddy's father was a vague rich guy who did vague rich guy things. Unfortunately, one of those vague rich guy things got his entire family on the bad side of Brazil's organized crime ring. When Eddy was 19, he came home from school only to find that his father had gotten God. With his dying breaths, he told Eddy to pretend that he was responsible for the murder and go to jail because that's the one place he would be safe. Seems convoluted, but okay. Eddy heeded his father's wish and did 8 years in the Slammer, during which he met an old guy who taught him the art of capoeira. Once Eddy had done his time, he swore revenge against his father's killers, thus immediately defeating the purpose of lying low for 8 years. He eventually learned that his father's death had been orchestrated by the would-be world dictator Kazuya Mishima, and since he's not a main character, Eddy's made basically no progress towards his goal since then. As for Tiger, we know absolutely nothing about him. He's just some guy with the same fighting style as Eddy. He might not even be canon. Eddy's Tekken 3 1P is simple but iconic. His pants and rope belt match those typically worn in capoeira, but his sleeveless crop top is less traditional. Both it and his pants are emblazoned with the word faísca, meaning spark in Portuguese. He's wearing the colors of the Brazilian flag, which isn't the most creative choice, but it looks good, makes sense for his character, and sets him apart from the rest of the roster. 7 out of 10. His 2P is a more casual look consisting of a sleeveless shirt, shorts, and sneakers, as well as some sunglasses and a compression sleeve. His shirt says Puso along the bottom, and as far as I can tell, that doesn't mean anything in Portuguese. It means some things in other languages, but none that really make sense. Also, it's mirrored for some reason. Aside from the purple and magenta color palette, nothing about this outfit really stands out. 4 out of 10. Tiger's Tekken 3 design is pretty simple, but it screams 70s funk. Between the afro and sideburns, the shades, the open shirt, the bell bottoms, and the chunky platform shoes, it's obvious what this guy's all about. His palette is mainly orange and blue, which is a complementary color scheme. Tiger's outfit stands out in the context of Tekken, but it's nothing all that special overall. 5 out of 10. Tekken Tag Tournament keeps both of Eddy's costumes from the previous game, but it also gives him a new variation of each. His 1P gets a white and blue palette swap that removes his shirt and adds some jewelry. I like how much this costume changes his classic look. 8 out of 10. His 2P instead gets a straight up palette swap, and not a very interesting one. Now, instead of purple and magenta, it's magenta and white. This is fine, I guess, but it's less colorful than the original while also not differentiating itself. 3 out of 10. This game makes some minor adjustments to Tiger's palette. His shades are white instead of pink, his jewelry is gold instead of silver, and he has some purple accents on his shirt. None of these changes make a big difference in my opinion. 5 out of 10. In Tekken 4, Eddy is a secret bonus character who shares a slot with Christie, so he only has one costume. It's a simple but stylish outfit consisting of an unbuttoned purple dress shirt, black slacks, brown dress shoes, and some gold jewelry. It works well enough, but I can't get that excited about regular clothing, especially when it's his only option. And that's a shame, because it's all Eddy's really gonna get for the next several games. 5 out of 10. His Tekken 5 1P is an update to his classic look. It replaces his thin black rope belt with a thick white one, making it more noticeable during gameplay. It also changes his faísca logos to a larger, spicier font. These are small but significant improvements. Prior to making this video, I kinda forgot that Eddy didn't always look like this, which goes to show how effective of a redesign it is. 9 out of 10. His 2P is once again normal fashion, but it's a bit fancier this time. Despite a mostly understated color palette of browns and oranges, there are some nice patterns on his shirt and pants to break up the design. He has sunglasses, bell bottoms, and a purple collar, which I like to think are nods to Tiger. It's not super exciting, but it definitely has more personality. 6 out of 10. Eddy goes without any new costumes for the next couple games, but in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, he finally gets a new 2P. Unfortunately, it's nothing special. It's just a bomber jacket, gloves, distressed pants, and boots. It's all cold weather gear, which makes it cohesive at least, but there's not much color. I think his other casual looks are a bit more interesting. 4 out of 10. Tag Tournament 2 also brings back Tiger. The general concept of his costume is unchanged, but it's a lot flashier now. And I mean that literally, because it's covered in pulsating rainbow lights. This gives him a more unique and recognizable identity, although it doesn't change the fact that this is a one-dimensional character with a one-dimensional costume. He's still just a disco guy. 8 out of 10. In Tekken 7, Eddy is rocking a leopard print coat. His necklace features images of a flower with 4 petals. As far as I know, this doesn't have any specific significance to Eddy or capoeira or Brazil in general, but I like that they tried to give him a unique motif. The white shirt adds some nice value contrast to his mostly dark color scheme. This is my favorite of Eddy's casual looks. 7 out of 10. This costume's alternate color is white and red. As much as I like that combination, it looks kind of gaudy on this outfit. It's also a less varied palette, as his jacket and pants are now the same color. 7 out of 10. That brings us to Tekken 8, and before we go into his character design, let me just ask, why did they give my man such a boring render? He has one of the most energetic and visually appealing fighting styles in the game, but they decided he should be in the mom said it's my turn on the Xbox pose. Anyway, this costume is a mix of his classic look and more modern athletic gear. He also has a bit of leopard print on his collar as a nod to the last game. It looks good from the waist down, but I think the top is too busy. You can remove his vest in customization mode, which is a big step in the right direction, although the yellow of his undershirt is a bit much in that case. This costume also replaces his classic hairstyle with the Killmonger cut. There's some controversy surrounding how prevalent this hairstyle has become in recent character designs, but I don't want to get into all that, so I'm going to analyze it in a vacuum. I do think it looks cool, and I like that it fades from dark brown to a sort of blonde, but I don't feel like it's a great fit for Eddy. I associate this hairstyle with younger characters and rebellious personalities, whereas Eddy is mature and pretty calm as far as fighting game characters go. When he was first revealed for this game, I thought he was supposed to be Eddy's son or something, because his hair makes him look very different. Also, he has a red belt now, which throws off his classic Brazilian flag palette. There are aspects of this redesign that I really like, but overall I'm not a fan. I think it lands right in the middle at a 5 out of 10. This costume's alternate color is a callback to his Tag Tournament palette, but it also adds a bright orange belt to complement the blue. I personally prefer the green and yellow, but I think this is about on par with the default. 5 out of 10. His toupee is yet another example of regular fashion. He's wearing a fancy coat with a fur collar that sort of reminds me of Miguel's Tekken 7 outfit. He also has some ornate filigree on his shirt. The main thing that stands out about this costume is the complementary purple and gold color scheme, which looks flashy and extravagant. As should be clear by now, I'm not very interested in this sort of design, but it's well made and I'm sure it will appeal to some players. 6 out of 10. And with that, we have ranked every single Eddy and Tiger costume. Well, that's just my opinion, so what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree with any of my rankings. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, I bid thee farewell.